Mm. Why am I even drinking it? Welcome to Weekly Wind Down. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Randy.
And tonight we're going to be discussing moderate resorts around Walt Disney World.
Yes, but first, as always, let's do our weekly wind down. Cheers!
Cheers! Clink, clink.
Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. We are going to talk about on today's episode of the Weekly Wind Down, moderate resorts.
Moderate resorts tend to be kind of the perfect price point for everyone when you want a little bit more than those values, but you don't want to pay the big bucks for the deluxe. The sweet spot is always these moderate resorts.
Yes,
So
I think the moderate resorts are the ones that I get the most questions about from clients. So we're going to break those down for you tonight.
yes, what's our favorite, why we would stay at this one, why we wouldn't stay at this one, la da 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 da. All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's start with these sister resorts. This two. We have the Port Orleans Riverside and the Port Orleans French Quarter.
Yes. And out of all of the moderate resorts, Port Orleans has been the resort that I typically book for clients. That's my most requested resort. Like the clients that come to me, those are my most requested resorts, specifically Riverside.
Interesting. That's interesting. I am guessing because of the price point.
I think so. The price point, and then also Riverside has those princess themed rooms with the light up headboard that
yeah,
just so magical and just perfect for kids. I think that's the other thing. Everybody that wants to stay there wants to stay in one of these princess themed rooms.
So Port Orleans Riverside, if you kind of hear it in the name, it has a very New Orleans, but more of a very fancy Southern New Orleans. That was my Georgia accent, but it has more of a I guess it's the
antebellum.
Yeah, the more of the like living on a plantation, not a working plantation.
Right.
Yeah.
But that style of building, there is that it's called like the Magnolia buildings that just Southern with those big live oak trees with the moss and those grand white columns. Yeah, so pretty.
That vibe. Yes. It used to be called, did you know this? I stayed back in the day when it was called Dixie Landings.
No, I did not know that.
It was new. I mean, this was the 90s, I guess. It was considered new. And so there's a few of those touches that are still there from when it was called that, like those big fans that go back and forth in the entry. I remember that. And so
I love those fans.
Yeah. It's right on the Sassagoula River. The pool there is great. It has table service and quick service, a lounge area. I think my only con about this one is I feel like it needs a good update. It needs a little pick me up or revive, new paint on the walls, give it a fresh coat.
Yes, it's definitely due for an update. And French Quarter, its sister resort, is that true New Orleans Mardi Gras vibe. Out of the two, that is my favorite, is French Quarter. It truly looks like you are dropped right into the middle of New Orleans, and even like the cobblestone type streets, but they're not streets, they're like little walking paths in between all of the buildings. Then you also have the Mickey beignets, which highly recommend. I think staying at French Quarter just for those beignets. I mean, come on.
I did. I stayed there for one night just to have beignets in the morning. Yeah.
Yes. And then you have the Scat Cat Jazz Club. You just have that whole New Orleans Mardi Gras vibe, which I love. The pool is great too for kids. My kids really enjoy that pool as well.
Yeah, you are in walking distance to both of these. Like they so French Quarter doesn't have a sit down restaurant, table service restaurant, but
Right.
Riverside does. So you can just mosey on over to Riverside for that one if
Mhm.
you need to. It has a quick service, like we were saying. I think it's smaller than Riverside.
It is.
So you're on it. Riverside will have a bus loop that will go around to all the different little sections, throughout. But
Mhm.
French Quarter has one bus stop, which to
Yes.
me, I prefer that. I
Me too.
prefer in these type of resorts something a little bit kind of quaint and closer.
Yes, me too. And then one of the things that I've always wanted to do, that I'm going to have to put on my list eventually is the horse-drawn carriage ride. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to do that. Again, just that cute little, like you're in New Orleans and they take you on a horse-drawn carriage from French Quarter to Riverside and back. Just like a sweet little thing that not a lot of people do or know about until they start to see it, but something definitely to think about when you're booking your vacation at either one of those resorts.
Yeah, and it's not overpriced. It's you pay per ride, not per
Hmm.
person, which is kind of great. I
Right.
want to say last time I priced it out, I want to say it was like 50
I
for a
think
ride.
so.
So if
For
you have
like
a
a
family,
30-minute ride. Hmm.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
really not bad.
Yes.
As someone who's from Louisiana originally, they do a good job at
Yes.
both of these resorts, Riverside and French Quarter. French
Hmm.
Quarter they really went into all the detail, like we were saying, with the New Orleans streets and
Hmm.
the lights, the signs, the
Yes.
little horse, which they still have these little horse. It was where you would tie up your horse. I don't
Yeah.
know what they're called, but these little
Yes.
posts have a little thing, and that's where you would tie your horse. They're all spread out. It
Yes.
really is a sweet. And did you know they recently redid the rooms? Like just a few weeks ago, finally
Oh,
finished.
really?
Yeah, we need to go check
Wow.
them out. I know.
Yes, we do. We
And
do.
get this
And you
space.
can take the boat from either of those resorts to Disney Springs. So that's a plus in my book too.
I agree. All right. So yeah, these are both good options, especially with the price point. We should say that moderate resorts tend to kind of range from 250 to
Mhm.
about 500 depending on the season, depending on what
Mhm.
room you get, depending on all kinds of factors, but
Right.
usually are in that price point, sometimes
Mhm.
less if there is a deal going on,
Mhm.
like a 35% off or a Disney Plus deal or something. You can
Yes.
sometimes even get it priced lower than that. So
Yeah, and we should say as far as like the what type of room, you're looking at pretty much the same room at these, like at French Quarter, they're all the same room. They're all like styled the same, set up the same. They're all the same size, but it's just the proximity in the resort to either the bus transportation or at French Quarter, if you get a river view room, that's going to be a little bit more pricier. So you just have to decide, when you're picking out your room, do you want a view? What kind of view do you want? And do you want to be closer to the bus transportation? And speaking of bus transportation, that's important for our next moderate resort, Caribbean Beach.
yes, big bus transportations there.
Yes, it is a
Caribbean Beach,
huge resort.
huge. It's so spread
Spread.
out.
Mhm.
It will take you a while to get around.
Yes.
But the one thing the Caribbean Beach does have that no other
Mhm.
moderate resort has is access to the Skyliner.
Yes.
Access to the not even just the Skyliner, you're on the hub. You are
Yes.
right there. So you can
Yep.
hop on the Skyliner directly to Epcot, you can hop on the
Mhm.
Skyliner directly to Hollywood Studios.
Right.
And so having that at your, fingertips
Mhm.
sets this one moderate resort to me above the others.
Yes. So then when you're looking at different room categories at Caribbean Beach, being closer to the Skyliner hub is going to put you just a little couple more dollars up than
Mhm,
if you were further away, or being closer to the main building where you have the pool, which is an amazing pool. My
mhm,
kids love that pool. It's kind of like it's like a Pirates of the Caribbean type theme.
mhm.
Being closer to the pool area and to the lobby with the table service and quick service dining locations, that is also going to kind of raise that price a little bit more than the buildings that are further away. But again, you can park right outside of these buildings, similar to if you're staying at,
Riverside, you can do that.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So something also about the Caribbean Beach Resort, well, like it's in the name, of course, it has a very Caribbean, almost like I mean, yeah, just the
Yeah.
Caribbean. I want to say it's like a Jamaican twist with a generic Caribbean twist. I don't
Mhm.
know, but it has
Right.
those vibes. You hear a steel drum,
Mhm.
it smells like tropical bananas, like it's so wonderful. The pool bar at Caribbean Beach
It's
is my
banana cabana.
Banana Cabana. It is
Yes.
the best. It's
Yes.
so good. Oh, I
Uh-huh.
love it so much.
Yeah, and all of the buildings are named after the different islands around the Caribbean. So when you're looking at, well, what does this mean? There's the Aruba building or
Right.
the Trinidad and Tobago area.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Another perk of Caribbean Beach. Well, okay, we should say the Caribbean Beach has fifth sleepers, like
mhm,
where, Riverside does as well. They'll have a
mhm,
few that would have a fifth sleeper.
yes,
Uh, French Quarter does not. It's just two
mhm,
queens. But Caribbean Beach will have some rooms that have a pull down little, five sleeper room,
mhm,
and they have been redone. They
yep,
have a very subtle Little Mermaid vibe to
mhm,
it. It's not an in your
yeah,
face, like,
yeah,
Little Mermaid thing. It's very kind of unique, like very, I don't know, very a subtle
uh-huh,
nod to it.
yeah,
But to me, one of the biggest, on top of the Skyliner being a plus, is being walkable to the Riviera Resort,
yes,
which is a deluxe resort that
mhm,
has some of the best food of all the
uh-huh,
resorts.
right,
So if you have access to go eat there,
mhm,
but pay moderate prices.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then another moderate resort that is on the same, for me, the same level as a deluxe resort is Coronado Springs.
Yes, Coronado Springs. So you have your regular rooms that are
Mhm,
kind of up the way that Caribbean Beach, Riverside, where you have your separate little buildings and all the rooms that you can park in front of. But they have built what is it, the Grand
the
Destino
Chino
Tower?
Tower,
Yeah,
yep, yeah,
that one, the tower
the
rooms.
tower.
That's where you turn into a deluxe feel,
Yes, for a
right?
moderate price point.
Right.
I know, I hope they never change that.
I do too. I don't want people to know about it. Ooh, we're just
Yes,
telling you, but it's like I don't want that to I really hope they don't change that because you
right.
can a little bit more, not as much as a deluxe, but a little bit
Mhm,
more than a moderate. You can be in the tower
mhm.
and have, I mean, they have a ton of restaurants
They
and lounges,
do. Yes.
and they have a gym there. They
Mhm.
have all the things that a deluxe would have,
Yes.
without having to pay that price.
Mhm. Now, I will say that Coronado in general, it's not like that heavy Disney theming. It's more subtle.
Mhm.
So typically when we would stay there, it would just be kind of an adult only trip. Our kids have stayed there. They have a really fun pool.
Mhm.
But just it's not over the top Disney. So if you're looking for over the top Disney, Coronado Springs is not going to be your resort.
No, no, but it's, yeah, we've stayed there and we've gone from that to a value, and I felt different. Like, it felt from the tower, of
Yes.
course, I think if you're staying around on the original part of Coronado,
Mhm.
then you'll feel that deluxe feel. But when you're staying in the tower that is brand new and
Mhm.
just it has a Spanish knob to it
Yes.
in a way. Like
Mhm.
Walt, was he friends with Salvador Dali? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he had a connection to him, and
Mhm.
this is kind of based on that. And so
That friendship, and you see those little nods to their friendship around the
it's
tower.
beautiful. And
Mhm.
the restaurant, what's the one that's in that, like, on the island?
Oh,
Three
yes, the 3 bridges.
Three Bridges. That
Yes.
is so good,
Mhm.
and you can
And
do
a great spot to, like, hang out. You're
mm,
literally in the middle of this lake.
yeah, it's so good, and you can do the, sangria
Yes.
flight I tell you, if you wanna feel like everyone's staring at you in a restaurant, order this. They
Yes.
set it in front of you, and it's a tower of
Mhm.
sangrias, like 4
Yes.
different ones. but it's huge in front of your face, and you're just like, no, it's just me. Don't worry, don't mind me. So I have all my cocktails. I've done
Right.
that by myself at the bar, and I
I
felt the judgment
mean,
coming.
no. I mean, as one should when you're staying at Coronado Springs.
Yeah.
Um, then they have the Sangria University. I believe it's only on Saturdays.
I feel like we need
Um,
to go there and
yes.
participate
So
and
they
graduate.
teach you like the ins and outs of sangria and how to make it. And then, of course, you taste it. And then you get a little certificate that you've graduated from Sangria University. So,
Video? Should that be one of our
yes,
videos? All right.
100%.
I think that would be a good one. So
Yes.
the pluses of Coronado is that it's a sleeper. Like no
Mhm.
one, this one isn't as popular. If you can stay, I would recommend if you can stay in the tower, then to
Mhm.
me it's worth it.
Mhm.
If you can't get in the tower, then I would pick Beach Club or sorry, Caribbean Beach over
Mhm.
just for transportation reasons. But the
Right,
tower
because
itself,
you do have to take a bus. Like we've said with Riverside and Caribbean Beach, the same thing goes with the bus transportation at Coronado. Even if you're staying in the tower, it goes to every stop. So that
it'll
is
take
something
you
to
a little bit.
consider. When you're at the tower, I believe they're the last ones to get on to go to the park. But
Yes.
then when you get dropped back off, they're the
Ye-
last ones to be dropped off.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, it's fine if you have some time to kill. Or
Mhm.
hey, if you just want to take an Uber, you could do an Uber straight to the parks too. So,
Yeah.
like I would recommend for Magic Kingdom doing a minivan
Mhm.
instead of an Uber because you get dropped off right there at the front. But
Yes.
the other parks, you can go and just do an Uber straight, which
Mhm.
sometimes, I don't know, if you need to get that rope drop time or you have early
Right.
dining, that's the way to go.
Yes, it
So,
is.
yeah, that's a that is a resort that if you are working with a travel agent, they'll feel you out. They'll know if
Mhm.
you are the right client for this type of resort because I
Right.
feel that it is a specific person to stay there.
Mhm.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
So
the last one is on our bucket list as well.
uh-huh.
The last one is this resort is half value, half moderate. So
Mhm.
we're going to talk about the moderate side. We'll get into the value side of it the next one, but
Yes.
we're talking about Fort Wilderness,
Uh-huh.
not to be
So
confused with Wilderness Lodge.
no, so Wilderness Lodge is going to be separate from Fort Wilderness. Wilderness Lodge is your deluxe. There's two parts of Wilderness Lodge, Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek, but Fort Wilderness is I it's not walkable to Wilderness Lodge. You have to take internal bus transportation to get from one to the other. But it's doable. You can go between the two of them. But Fort Wilderness has your campgrounds, which we'll talk more about in our value video. But it has the cabins that have been recently completely redone. They look so pretty.
So cute.
Yes,
So
and
cute.
those are definitely, that is somewhere I want to stay very, very soon.
Me too. The cabin sleeps 6. It
Mhm.
has a queen or king, I'm not sure which one, in the master bedroom
Mhm.
with bunk beds
Yes,
that are so cute.
yes.
They're so adorable. And
Themed
then,
with Chip and Dale. Oh,
yeah,
goodness. Yes.
like, yeah, Chip and Dale and Mickey and Pluto are
Uh-huh,
camping. That in the
uh-huh.
It's so cute. And then in the living room, the pull-out is a queen
Mhm.
as well. So
Yes,
it can sleep 6.
yes,
And
and then you
you
have your
do
full kitchen.
yeah, full
Mhm.
kitchen, grill out the back.
Yes.
You can rent golf carts for
Mhm.
this part or for
Which
this resort.
Yes, which if you do stay at Fort Wilderness, that is something that's a must. You
Yeah.
have to rent a golf cart and they do go pretty quickly. So that's
Mhm.
something to make sure when you're deciding if you're and you decide on Fort Wilderness in a cabin, that's the next thing you need to book is your golf cart.
Yeah. It is definitely a resort that you are going in with this outdoorsy mindset that you're
Mhm.
going to be, yes, enjoying the parks, but you're going to be doing something completely unique and a
Yes.
different experience. It does have that camper. I mean, it is a
Mhm.
legit campground where
Yes.
you can either camp in a tent or you
Uh-huh.
can park an RV and you can have
Mhm.
out of your RV or you can have these cabins. And
Yes.
so the cabins fall on the moderate side. They originally used to be priced pretty well. I haven't been on recently to see the pricing of the new cabins, see how much I'm sure they're falling in at that higher mark,
Yes.
because they've been redone.
Definitely depending on the time of year,
Yeah.
because, of course, when you are around the holiday seasons, like Thanksgiving or Christmas for sure, people do want to stay in because they want to stay longer, and the cabin gives you that opportunity to have, a kitchen for you to actually cook meals in, and that will save you some money, so if you're kind of outweighing, like, the pros and the cons of staying in a cabin, and it is a little bit more expensive than what you would typically pay on a moderate, just think about the money that you would save just having your meals at the cabin rather than in the parks.
So true. And not to we have to mention for Halloween, they will do
Yeah.
a Halloween parade with everyone who
Yes.
has a golf cart dresses up these golf carts like
Mhm.
big time. It's not just
Yes.
lights. It's like the golf carts have full on costumes. It's
Yes.
insane. And they do a
A
golf
whole
cart
thing.
parade.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to go and experience that. So maybe that
Me
should be
too.
on our Halloween list, is like staying there. I would
I
love it.
agree. I agree.
I want to do that one so bad. So that is that Fort Wilderness always kind of is in my head. It's a separate resort,
Yes.
unlike any other thing.
Yeah.
That's a unique, it's a special client that wants that one,
Mhm.
or, so that one, but the cabins do fall under moderate. So that
Yes.
brings moderate count to 5.
Uh-huh.
I feel like we will be getting more.
I
I think they're gonna do something with the Star Cruiser that closed down. I could
Uh-huh.
see a Star Wars resort going to a moderate side.
Oh, that would be amazing.
No, I know, just
Um,
based on the size rooms and everything they had, so
yes. So when you are deciding on your moderate resort, as always, take a look at your budget, take a look at what price you are willing to pay, and compare those resorts. And then you can dwindle it down from there. And then think about what type of experience you would like to have. If your experience involves kind of being off the beaten path, maybe Fort Wilderness is for you. If your experience, when you think about your Disney vacation, if you want that elevated experience, maybe the tower at Coronado Springs is for you. If you want to be close to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, Caribbean Beach is the way to go. Or if you love Disney Springs and love that quaint New Orleans, Louisiana feel, and want to experience Mickey beignets, which are highly recommended, um, one of the Port Orleans resorts definitely would check that box.
I agree. Yeah, there's good ones to pick from. What would
Mhm.
be your top pick if you had to pick one
Okay,
of these 5?
I will pick one, because this is easy for me. It's at like the deluxe resorts where I'm like, "Ooh, I love that, I love that."
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like the others, but French Quarter has a special place in my heart. It was our first Disney vacation as a family. Charlotte wasn't even 1 years old yet, so that definitely has a special place in my heart simply because it is our first vacation as a family to Walt Disney World. It's the first time I brought my kids, and we've stayed there since that time, but I love French Quarter. I think it's quaint. I love the way that all of the buildings look. I just love the theming. The theming for me, it just gets me.
Yeah, French Quarter is a great one. My pick is Caribbean Beach, and I know that a
Mhm.
lot of people are like, I don't like that one," but you give me access to Epcot and Hollywood
Yeah.
Studios. Anytime I get on that Skyliner, it's a ride.
Mhm.
I love it. I think I
Yes.
love the Skyliner more than I love the monorail, which I know, don't tell people that people will come at me, but there is something so when you hear that little chime, oh,
Mhm.
I love it. I love being able to have access, like a different mode of transportation to get
Absolutely.
to and from the parks. So
Yes.
that
That's a
one is
perk.
my pick. Also, the
Mhm.
smells. I have that smell that I bump in here whenever it's winter at
Uh-huh.
home and I'm sick of the cold. I
Yeah.
will put the Caribbean beach smell in my little air thingies, my diffuser,
Mhm.
and just pretend that I'm somewhere tropical.
Well, we hope that that helped you to kind of get to know the moderate resorts better and helped you figure out which resort would be the best fit for you and your family.
They all are priced pretty similar and I think good, reasonable price points too. So, yeah, we'll maybe do a deeper dive into each one.
Yes.
Maybe we'll go and we'll have to experience them all, and we'll show you all the dining and everything that's involved there. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think the moderate resorts are like they're medium resorts, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think they're a good pick for a lot of families and their budgets.
Yes, I agree. Thank you again for watching, and we hope that you will like and subscribe to our video. Follow us on social media on Instagram at A World of Adventure YT.
Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Thanks for joining. Bye. Cheers.